Photographer's Chronicles, episode 21. Let's go.
Let's create.
What's up, everybody? First of all, let me go ahead and get this out the way. I know this looks funny, but I'm just curious to see if it's going to work. As some of you know, I've gotten this recently, so I've been putting it in different places just to see where the best fit is going to be. So this right here was just an experiment I just want to see, because I feel like if I hold it in my hand, I feel like I'm like Barker on The Price is Right. For some of y'all old school cats, y'all remember that little old microphone? You said, yeah, I feel like that. So I'm going to try this. If I like it, this is what's going to be, and if not, then I'm going to the Bob Barker. Anyway, let's get to it. So this week, what we're going to talk about fear. Now, fear can definitely take place when it comes to being a photographer or going to get your photos done. Just a little background on me. Honestly, I grew up a very shy guy. Like, y'all would be amazed at some of the things I've had to go through in order to get the nerve up to do certain stuff. Early in my photography career, I definitely used to have a whole lot of anxiety when it came to doing photo shoots and actually going to photo shoots and talking to people. I mean, it was so bad to where I wouldn't sleep the night before. I literally get sick to my stomach and be ready to like throw up on my way to photo shoots for sure. One thing I definitely realized is that though once I got to the photo shoot, all of those things went away. It was usually something that was all in my head, because I really would just be talking to myself like, thinking I'm going to come up short, or I'm not going to be able to do this, or I'm not going to look professional, or, I'll just anything just to throw me off. Amazingly, when I talk to other photographers, that's not just me. A lot of photographers feel that way and still deal with those feelings. We just know how to hide it very well. Luckily, though, after you do it more and more, those things kind of go away. It kind of just takes a lot more to get to that place. It usually just takes a whole lot more to get to that space. Usually if you're talking about like a large scale photo shoot, usually like a wedding, or like for me, I've done like branding sessions for like clothing lines, just larger. It never really goes completely away. It's always lurking in the back, but you just end up coming up with things to help you get through it. I think one of the best things that you can do in order to alleviate that feeling is to just become the best photographer you can be. And what I mean is that make sure that you're studying your craft. Make sure you put yourself in situations before an actual photo shoot that you may have to improvise. Finding out different ways to come to the same result. Finding out exactly how your camera works and why it works, and what's going to be the best fit for you. You also want to make sure that you have backups to the backups. Make sure that you're never going to come up short when it comes to like batteries or memory cards, or even knowing if you don't have a certain lens, knowing which one is going to be a good substitute for you to still accomplish the look that you want to accomplish. And amazingly for me, one thing that helps me is actually building some rapport with your clients. Like, make sure you're having conversations with them, show them that you're a real person, talk about things that are not photography related, really get to know your client, be personable. That actually helps them actually get more relaxed with you. And to me, for my style of shooting, I need you to be relaxed, because I want these photos to relay your real personality and who you really are. Real smiles, real emotion, real laughs. So I think that's very important, because as you're consoling and comforting them, they're actually doing the same for you, and they're not realizing that. The last thing I think that can be very important when it comes to photographers getting more comfortable and not having as much fear, or not any fear at all, is put yourself in situations to where you have to perform. You are gonna have to go through those situations to get better at them. Like I said, I can't tell you how many times I went to photo shoots and been sick to my stomach. And been hungry because I can't hold anything down, you know what I mean? But you have to go through that. I will say nowadays when I have photo shoots, it's very rare that I'm nervous. I'm actually usually excited. And I think to an extent, even when you're getting past that first level of fear, put yourself in situations to where the stakes are higher. Like I said, instead of just being in front of families or in front of people, put yourself in front of crowds of people. Put it to where you may have to be the center of attention, and not just during the photo shoot, but also just sharing your work, being able to actually put it out there and stand behind your work, speak about your work in confidence. Even whenever it comes to other photographers, there's going to be times where other photographers that are new are going to want to know your expertise. They're going to see your work and they're going to have questions, and you need to own it. Own how good it looks. Own your process. Own how much it's taken for you to get to that certain point, and speak with a lot of confidence when it comes to that. And I'm actually speaking to myself, because I'm definitely guilty of downplaying myself. I feel like I'm just a very humble person, so I'm not a boisterous person. I don't really like to be in the front of everything. I don't mind playing the background, but sometimes it's necessary. Now, when it actually comes to being the client, when it comes to photography, definitely it's going to be some fear involved. I hear that from my clients all the time. We'll talk about, the arrangements and the timing and, all the little quirks that needs to go with the photo shoot. But in the end, they'll be like, I am so scared. It's always funny to me, because at the end of the day, these photos are nothing but you being yourself. Your photo should always reflect a version of you, just a stage in your life. It should never it should never deviate from the person that you are. There should be some things in that photography, those photos, that are going to be a true reflection of who you are. I try to make sure when I talk to my clients, I let them know that, because they'll always ask me my opinions on certain things, and I'm going to be like, hey, well, what do you want to do? What do you want it to look like? What makes you, what is it that's comfortable to you? And once you get to that level of acceptance, as far as like, you know what, I'm tripping. Let me just be me. Let me pick the poses that I like to pose, or let me smile the way that I like to smile. Let me pick my good side. All of those things, they're just very important, because to me, I think that makes the work pure. It makes it real. I can really look at that photo and be like, oh, that's a real smile, and it automatically makes me smile. It automatically makes my day just a little bit better. These things can cross over into like when you're talking about your wardrobe and like what you should wear and what looks right. What looks right to you? What do you like? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what everybody else is wearing or what's fashionable or who's gonna say what. If that's what you want to wear, if that's what you feel like, then that's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna make it happen with whatever you got going on. It's usually not about the clothes. If you're able to sell it with your personality, with your energy, with your smile, anything is gonna look right. Nobody's really gonna be paying attention to the outfit. They're going to be paying attention to you, your energy, how confident you look, how big your smile is. You actually going to make your outfit look better just in who you are, 100%. The last thing I'm going to say about as far as coming to get a photo shoot is actually the act of coming to get a photo shoot. A lot of people think that you have to look a certain way or there has to be a certain occasion for you to come get one, but it doesn't have to be. Celebrating yourself is just enough. You know what I mean? Every day is really a day in your life. Every day deserves to be benchmarked for one reason or another, so why not? Why not have like something historically and in your hand that says, hey, I remember this day and this is what I was going through and this is how I was feeling. This is what the weather was that day. This is all those things. They're worthy of being recorded. And like I said, you don't realize it until time is gone by, but being able to look at those pictures and be like, oh man, you know what, this is what I had going on in my life. Or man, you know what, my hair was looking so good that day. Or oh God, this makeup was busting. You know what I mean? Or I thought I was so fly in this outfit. All of those things are worthy of being recorded. So why not? So I think that should be the question, is like, instead of saying why should I, it should be why not? Why not? Why am I not worthy of it? Come on, let's get it. All right, y'all. That's all I have for this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. As per usual, if you guys have any comments or suggestions, feel free to drop it down here in my comments. Or if you rather just send me a message directly, I'm definitely down to entertain all those questions. Until next time, y'all be easy.